welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Murray Bridge Council Chamber, where hopefully the microphone is working and you can hear me. We're about to get underway with a citizenship ceremony here in Murray Bridge. We've got about a dozen or so new Australian citizens taking their pledges today, so stand by.
Oh, yeah.
It's open. Away.
You need it, do you?
No, I'm just going to get out of the way so we can get out of the way later.
What do you want me to see?
Yeah.
All citizens. Yep.
That's all right. So you just right here.
Good afternoon and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, to this afternoon's citizenship ceremony. My name is Michael Sedgman. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the rural city of Murray Bridge, and it is my privilege and my pleasure to be your Master of Ceremonies for this afternoon's citizenship ceremony. I firstly acknowledge that we are on traditional Nurrungiri land. We acknowledge the Nurrungiri people as the traditional owners of this land on which we meet and work. We respect and acknowledge their spiritual connection as the custodians of this land, and that their cultural heritage beliefs are still important to the living people today. I'd also acknowledge His Worship, Brenton Lewis, Mayor of the rural city of Murray Bridge, and Mr Adrian Petterick, MP, Member for Hamilton. I also need to note and acknowledge the apologies of the Honourable Alex Hawke, MP, Minister for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs, Mr Tony Passon, MP, the Federal Member for Barker, and Senator Muriel Smith, Senator for South Australia. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce His Worship, Mayor Brenton Lewis, who will be the presiding officer of today's citizenship ceremony. Mayor Lewis.
Thank you, Michael. I'm going to take this off at this point so that I can
that you're wearing the face masks. Unfortunately, in these times of COVID, it's essential, but we're very lucky considering our fellow Australians are on the eastern seaboard of Australia at the moment. They don't have the opportunity to come to meetings, let alone a gathering such as this. Michael's already welcomed you. I'd also like to make mention of the people that are in the gallery, friends and family members that have come along today to witness this Australian citizenship ceremony. It's just great to do and be recognised with your friends and family wherever possible. So that's really great to see it turning out here this afternoon. I'm a person who's been given the opportunity through federal government legislation to run a service such as this, as Michael qualified as well. So this afternoon I will be the officiating officer. I'd like to congratulate you, each and every one of you, on taking the decision to become Australian citizens. It's certainly welcome from the point of view of the community of Murray Bridge, and I can say that with my hand on heart as the mayor of this community. I welcome you, our community welcomes you. Some of you have lived in our community for some time, so you know what type of community we are. We'd just love to see you people come on board as new citizens, and today is a very important step forward in that. Australia's street lies in its people. Our people have made Australia what it is we would claim it to be today. By building the nation into a vibrant, open and diverse society of which we can all be proud. The citizenship ceremony is conducted as prescribed under acts of the federal government. I'm willing to tell you they are the Citizenship Act of 2007 and the Australian Citizenship Regulations of 2016. So under those two acts and the authority of the Minister, we'll go ahead today and run the ceremony. I've already told you I've been authorised as a person that can do this, and I look forward to it, and it's actually an honour and pleasure to be able to do that. There is a message from the Minister. Michael has already read some immediate apologies from today, which include the Federal Minister and our Federal Member, but I'm asked to read this statement by the Honourable Alex Hawke MP, who's the Minister for Migration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs on a national basis. And this is what he wants me to say to you. Today you become an Australian citizen. We are immensely proud of what we have achieved as a nation, and we welcome you in joining us. Our history and culture has been forged through thousands of years, first through our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and more recently with people from all points of the earth. Australia has succeeded as a nation by embracing and defending our national values. We believe in the freedom and the dignity of each individual, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of association. We value the rule of law and the democracy and the equality of opportunity for all people. It's a fair old bit to say, but when you think through it, the benefits we have as citizens in this country, a lot of people would love to have. Excuse me. We stand with other democracies in helping to defend and protect these values, hard-fought values. We are a resilient nation by any means. We see droughts, we see bushfires, we see floods, and global pandemics is the one we're currently experiencing. Excuse me, I've got your water here. We'll get to it. Our key strength in Australia has never been more important than it is right now, particularly looking at the pandemic that we're currently living through. Upon taking the pledge of commitment today, I call on you to embrace the values that we've just mentioned and the rights and responsibilities of an Australian citizen, and play an active role in your local communities. to build upon and make an even stronger nation than we've already claimed to be. Thanks, Ashley. Just excuse me. I hope that's enough water for the frog in the throat. If not, I'll give you another challenge. So, Minister Alex Hawke says in closing, he says, on behalf of the Australian Government, he congratulates each and every one of you on reaching this milestone of citizenship, which is about to be proclaimed here today. So that's a message from the Federal Minister. They wouldn't be allowed to come here anyway, the way the boards are at the moment. It's with pleasure that I will call upon Adrian Pedrick to come forward. Adrian is a local politician from the state government perspective. A lot of you know that. If you don't know that, Adrian represents us in the South Australian Parliament as the member for Hammond. And he would like to say a few words to you today. I'll call upon you, Adrian. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I truly welcome you as the state member for Hammond, not just to our state and our nation, but to this region, the vibrant Murraylands region. I want to acknowledge the work that Brent Lewis and Michael Sedgman and the council do, and also my colleague and friend Tony Passon, who is stranded in Canberra at the minute. So who knows when we'll see him next. But look, I truly welcome you in taking this, which is a great leap, and I think it's more than a leap of faith. It's a leap of acknowledgement of coming here to what has been my home all my life and is becoming your new home. And I think it's a magnificent place to be, and we see with recent national and world events that I think it's the best and the safest place to be in the world. But I truly welcome you as new citizens, which you are going to become shortly, and in front of your friends and families. I truly acknowledge the contribution that you'll make to the vibrancy and culture of this area, and not just to the social fabric, but also to the economic fabric of this great community, which is going through a real upswing at the moment of $1 billion worth plus of development, notwithstanding what's going on with COVID-19. So on behalf of the South Australian Government, I truly welcome you as new citizens, which you will be very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. And you'll find Adrian and his office most helpful if you need to find your way through the things that you might want to do around citizenship into the future, understanding your rights and responsibilities, and also you'll find Adrian's office, along with that of our federal member, Tony Passon, very helpful when you have inquiries. And we have quite a few inquiries around migration matters, and you'll have friends and relatives, even yourself, from time to time. We'll find it, pretty difficult to find your way through the systems. And I can only say to you that locally, through Adrian's office and through Tony Passon's office, you'll find there's a lot of help there waiting for you. Don't be afraid to come forward. And it's the same for local government. Those matters that you wish to talk to us about our local government and our local community, we're always here, we're always willing, and we'll always make ourselves available. So let's get underway with the service at hand. The Australian citizenship represents a full and formal membership of the community of the Commonwealth of Australia, and Australian citizenship is a common bond involving reciprocal rights and obligations, uniting all Australia while respecting their diversity, your diversity, their diversity. Persons on whom Australian citizenship is conferred enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations by pledging loyalty to Australia and its people, and by sharing their democratic beliefs, and by respecting their rights and liberties, and further by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. That's mandatory. They're the essential ingredients of being a good citizen. I I know today that some taking pledge number 1 and some taking pledge number 2. You would be aware of who you are. So in the first instance, I'd like to call those persons that is taking pledge number 1 to be standing, if you wouldn't mind, please. Pledge number 1 card holders. Thank you for that. So I'm going to say a few words, and then I'll pause and the opportunity. Yeah, we'll take it. So how we'll conduct this is I'll say a few words and then I'll pause. I'll ask you to repeat those words after me, and they are on the cards that you have in hand. Everyone comfortable with that? Ready? Okay. So for the Citizenship Pledge number 1, here I go. From this time forward and under God, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people. Whose democratic beliefs I share. Whose rights and life and liberties I respect. And whose laws I will uphold and obey. That's great. Please be seated. I'd now like to call upon those other persons about to become citizens. That's number 2, pledge number 2. Would you be upstanding, please? Same story. I'll make the comment. I'll pause, and if you would repeat after me that comment, that will do. From this time forward, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people. Whose democratic beliefs I share. Whose rights and liberties I respect. And whose laws I will uphold and obey. Thank you so much. Please be seated. I call upon, well, first of all, let me congratulate you, having just taken the step. What I'm about to do is call upon the Chief Executive, Michael Tesman, to join me and present you with the tax, citizenship tax and certificate. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Brendan. As I call your name, please come forward and accept your citizenship certificate and a small bag of tokens of reminder of your very important step here today. Abigail Franco Crossing.
We'll have time for some photos at the end of the ceremony. If you'd like some, don't be too worried if you miss out right now. We'll make plenty of time after.
Yi Ju Fu. Mark Zamon Mosta Lazaro. Ellen Musa. Na Ten Tong. Ji Ten Wing. Tree Truong Win. James Jacob Palakil. Andrew Hill.
Congratulations, Andrew.
Charlotte Medal. Karen Medal. An Hong Trotter.
Well done. Congratulations to you. So, now we've handed over the certificates. It's official. You've undertaken your pledge. Makes it official. You are now citizens of Australia. I really congratulate each and every one of you on making the decision to become Australian citizens. It's a really wholesome feeling as the mayor of the city to see new people join our community and take part in our community. You can all contribute. You are already contributing in a very strong and healthy way to the growth of Murray Bridge as a community. I really want to emphasise that word community, because we really are a good. And you're going to be able to help us understand from your culture things that are important to you, things that you really treasure, your values. Remembering all I said here earlier, without infringing upon people's freedom or rights, we have the opportunity to come together, experience common benefit for all. And I really welcome you, and I hope that you participate in any way possible that you can within the wonderful community of Murray Bridge. I know some of you might be a little out of Murray Bridge, but are here because your home is here. It doesn't matter whether you're studying away or working away, I'd like you to think of this as your community. And I really welcome you. Now what do the notes say? What the notes say is that along with the privileges that you have, and those rights that you have, those freedoms that you have, and the opportunity to vote, and all those things that you now have as Australian citizens, there's also an obligation. There's an obligation that comes with it to undertake the citizenship oath that you've just taken, to live by those standards. They become the standards that you live by, and uphold and obey the laws of Australia. So if you do that, you'll find you'll have very few problems as you go throughout your daily life. That's what we all have to do. We're all obliged to do that as Australian citizens. It's important for you to enrol on the voter list for you're eligible now as Australian citizens to vote both at the federal level, of national politics, and at the state level, of South Australian politics, and at the local government level. The national level and the state level are mandatory. You have to vote or you can be fined. So you need to register, get yourself on the roll. As I said earlier, if you have any difficulty, there's information in your pack. If you have difficulties, you can always talk to Adrian's office or Tony's office or talk to us. We're here to help you. Use your right to vote, by all means. Take that opportunity to be here. I think that's all I need to say about the Electoral Commission. I would encourage you to vote locally, even though you're not forced to vote for local government. It's very important that you take interest in local government, and I would encourage you all to exercise your right to vote when the time comes. So over the next 6 months or so, you will see federal government elections, roughly that time frame. Could be 8 months, but somewhere it's not that far away after Christmas sometime, unless they call an early election at the federal level. Adrian, we're talking about March, April next year. March March next year. The state government is up for elections, so there's another time on your calendar to think of. And local government will have elections in November 22, towards the end of November in 2022. And as I started to say, I really encourage you to use your opportunity to vote local, because then we are a reflection of what you want. Okay, whereas the other two, you really have to vote anyway, whether you like it or not. You have an obligation as a citizen to cast your vote. So, I don't know how good you are at the national anthem, but we're all going to ask you to stand up, and I think the words will be displayed on the screen behind me shortly. Here we go. Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for joy, our home is good by sea. Our land, the mountain ranges, of beauty rich and rare, in gifts with hatred every state, that loves Australia fair. In joyful strength and let us sing, that loves Australia fair. Thank you, everybody. That is the end of the, you can be seated if you wish. That is the end of our formalities for today. I'd like to thank Adrian Patrick, for our local member, for making the time to be here. I'd like to thank our MC today, Michael Sedgman, for doing a wonderful job on behalf of you all. Now, as I said earlier, I know from many other occasions, some family groups would like to have a photo. By all means, if you come over here, and I'm more than happy to be in any photo or whatever you want to do with family groups. So we'll make the time to do that now. Other than that, thank you very much for coming.